glad to have you with us again for episode 5 of Dr. Hakeem Hosseini's journey to unravel a mysterious offer he received in a dream. I'm Murad Lazar, your host for this podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, you can meet Hakeem and his friends and hear more about his dream in our first 4 episodes. Now I invite you to an evening with Hakeem and Zaina, along with Mahmoud and his wife Hayat. Ahlan wa sahlan, dear listener, as you listen in on their dinner conversation. Hakeem is convinced that the dream he recently had was a real encounter with the Almighty. So the question he was asked, "If I promise to grant you the deepest desire of your heart, what will you ask for?" is the most important thing on his mind. After talking it over with close friends and his wife, Hakeem has decided that peace, as impossible as that seems in this troubled world, is his number one heart's desire. This desire was further deepened when he learned that his dear friend Subhi's brother had been kidnapped. The idea of peace has occupied Hakeem's every waking thought. Then recently he treated a patient at the hospital who seemed filled with peace and a strange closeness with Allah. What's even more intriguing is that the man said it all started with a dream. Mahmoud is not in the same social class as Hakeem and his wife, but Hakeem is so impressed by the man that he's ignored social norms and invited Mahmoud and his wife over for dinner. It's a Sunday evening, and Hakeem and Zaina are awaiting their guests.
Hakeem, what time are... Oh, sorry, I didn't see you were on the phone.
It's Subhi. Thank you for telling me, my friend. Yes, keep in touch. Rest assured we'll do what we can to help.
Is there news about Subhi's brother? Have the kidnappers been in touch?
Yes, they're optimistic they'll get him back. It looks like the gang who took him thought he was someone else, an executive in the company with a lot of money. When they found out they had the wrong man, they sold him to another political party. Now they're asking for a lower ransom given he's not rich. They might have him back by next week. But it's still going to bankrupt the family.
Oh, Habibi, I feel so sorry for them. But getting him back alive is the most important thing.
I know. Let's try to enjoy our evening with our guests. It will take our minds off of a situation that we have no control over. They should be here any... as I was saying. Mahmoud, ahlan wa sahlan. I'm so glad you came. This is my wife Zaina.
Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Please come in.
We're so grateful for your generous invitation, Doctor. This is my wife, Hayat.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
It was so kind of you to bring flowers.
Ghandour chocolates as well? You didn't need to do this.
It's a very small way of expressing how honored we feel to be invited to your home.
Hayat, your abaya is lovely. What nice embroidery.
Thank you.
Oh, please have a seat.
Your home is beautiful. I've never been in a house like this. It's very modern.
We've enjoyed picking up some modern artwork over the years, but we love traditional art too. Please have some tea.
How are your children?
We have just one daughter, Hala. She is well. She is with her uncle's family in the mountains for the long holiday weekend.
I trust you had no problem finding us, Mahmoud. I'm glad the demonstrations in some part of the town didn't keep you from coming. Are you healing well from your wounds?
You took very good care of me, Doctor. I'm so grateful, and I'm healing well. Even this limp is getting better, thanks to my Lord.
I'm glad to hear that. Given your age, injuries like yours take longer to heal. Feel free to come see me again at the hospital if you need more help.
How are your children?
Thank the Lord. Our 2 boys are fine.
Always thank the Lord, the Lord. What's with this man's intimacy with the Almighty? Forgive me for being so forward, But we doctors learn to get to the point quickly since we have so many patients to tend to. I want to ask...
Relax and have some more tea. My husband is always in a hurry, but no need to hurry tonight.
You're very kind.
She wants to study computer science, but she changes her mind every few weeks. So, who knows?
When I was in school, I wanted to be a pilot. But getting knocked off my motorcycle was the only time I've ever flown.
The dinner was delicious, Mrs. Husseini.
Now that my wife has made sure we are all well fed, I want to continue a conversation we started when I met you in the hospital, Mahmoud. But before I ask you to tell me your story, I think it's only fair that I tell you mine. Please understand that I'm only sharing this with a few people at the moment because it's rather strange. So I would appreciate you not repeating this.
Of course, we will not repeat it, Doctor.
I was very interested when you mentioned a dream, because I also had one not too long ago. But in my dream, the room became bright. I received this sort of mental message saying, if I promise to grant you the deepest desire of your heart, what will you ask for? Now, I'm not a very religious man, but I was brought up to believe in Allah and the Prophet, peace be upon him. There was no question in my mind that the one communicating with me that night was Allah. If you ask me how I know with such certainty, all I can say is I just know. As I have thought about what I would ask, I've come to realize that one of the deepest desires of my heart is to experience peace in my innermost being and in the world.
That's a great choice, Doctor.
But it seems impossible. I don't have to tell you what a mess this world is in. People, the economy, politics, social services, kidnappings. Everywhere I look, I see selfishness, cruelty, and corruption.
But there are good people too, Hakim. As doctor, you are helping people.
Yes, I try, Zaina. But even in my honorable medical field, I see political power plays, greed, and unfair treatment of patients. As you can see, we live comfortably, thanks to Allah. I can afford the things we need and a decent education for my daughter and my brother's children. And I'm happy to have an honorable name. But even as I have examined my own life...
Hakim, please.
It's all right, Zaina. I feel we're among friends. I can talk. I know that even with all these things, I'm not at peace inside. Not the kind of peace you seem to have, Mahmoud.
I'm glad you have been blessed, Doctor.
But it hasn't brought me peace. When I met you in the hospital, I saw a man in pain who had been unjustly injured. Yet you showed a depth of peace I don't think I've ever seen. You didn't seem bitter about what happened to you, calling for revenge on the driver who hit you even. But you weren't fatalistic either. Instead, you were more concerned about your fellow patient, a total stranger, than about yourself. Forgive me for talking so freely, but the other thing that struck me about you, Mahmoud, is the way you use the term, my Lord. Almost as if you knew the Almighty personally.
I didn't mean to offend.
No, you didn't offend. You intrigued me. It seemed the Almighty was very real to you, as though you have something like an intimate relationship with Him. If that's not an offensive way of putting it. I was taught about Him, that He's powerful, merciful, gracious, a judge to be revered and feared, whose final decision regarding where we spend eternity we won't know until the day of judgment. But with you there was something more, as if you didn't just know about Him, but actually knew Him.
Hakim, I've never heard you talk like this before. Is this why you've been so quiet lately? I thought it was because of stress from your work. I know the dream had an effect on you, but I didn't realize you were thinking about all these spiritual things.
I am, Zaina. I can't stop thinking about it. Mahmoud, help me understand how Allah seems to be so real to you.
I'll be glad to. But first of all, Doctor, thank you from the bottom of my heart for welcoming us into your home and letting us eat with you. It's a real honor. The only place I've ever met a doctor before is in the hospital. I think you are very brave to speak so honestly, especially with someone like me who's not another doctor. You've opened your heart. Most men wouldn't be so honest or so humble. I can understand how this dream is making you think so much. My dream did the same thing to me, and I hope I'm not speaking too freely now. You're not hiding behind your education or your religious tradition. It seems like you're really trying to find the truth.
Hakim told me about your sense of peace, Mahmoud, but he didn't tell me you had a dream. I'm starting to wish I would have a dream like that. Or maybe I don't want to.
Oh, I hope you do, Mrs. Husseini. It's so wonderful if what I hear is true. Westerners just ignore their dreams like they're all meaningless. I can't understand how they can be like that. We Arabs know better. We know there's more behind our dreams, at least certain ones.
When did you have your dream?
A few years ago, in my 30s, I was always faithful in my duties as a Muslim, but more and more I was really wanting to enjoy Allah, not just work hard to please Him. Then I had this dream. Usually, my dreams are just snippets of things about my work or family, and I forget them by the time I've brushed my teeth. But this dream was different. Like you said about yours, Doctor, there was so much light. Only in my dream, there were colors too. I was in a garden with the most brilliant colors I've ever seen. I've tried to describe it to Hayat, but I just can't find the right words. I was walking around, just looking at all the beautiful plants, when I saw a gardener. He was busy working, watering the flowers, pruning the bushes. I went up and told him what a good job he was doing with the garden, how beautiful everything was. When I got near him, I just felt this incredible sense of peace coming from him.
Peace?
Yes, he just felt, I still don't know how to put it, like he was life-giving. I felt full of indescribable joy just being near him, but he wouldn't look at me.
That seems strange. How could he seem so nice if he wouldn't even look at you?
I can't explain it, Mrs. Husseini. I wanted to see his face, but just couldn't. But he wasn't impolite. He seemed really pleased to have me around, and he even talked with me. He told me how glad he was that his garden brought me joy. Then he said something that still moves me. He told me it was more important that I know him than his beautiful work.
So very different from my dream. What did you say?
I asked him his name and where he was from, and he told me I couldn't know that then, but I could meet him if I would find an Injil, a Bible.
A Bible?
Yes, and that's when I woke up. I was really shaken. But just like Doctor said, I was sure it was from Allah. My first thought was that I didn't have any idea where to find a Bible. Then I remembered an Armenian classmate from years ago. Varouj and I had stayed in touch a little, and I knew he was teaching in America. I reached out to him, and he thought it was strange, but he got hold of a Bible and mailed it to me. As soon as it came, I started reading.
I've seen one of those. It looks really long.
It's actually made up of a lot of different books all bound together, and it's divided into 2 parts. I started reading the second part, really because it was shorter. I read a book by a man called Matthew. That was the life of Isa. Then the next 3 books, all by different writers, that were about Isa too. I couldn't put it down. And in the 3rd book, that one was written by a man named Luke. I came across a story that really hit me. By the way, you might like Luke, Doctor. I found out later that he was a doctor himself.
What was his story about?
It was about a father who had 2 sons who weren't enjoying living and working with him or with each other.
Were they still in school?
No, The boys were grown. Luke doesn't say, but I'm guessing the older one was too bossy, at least if he's anything like my older brother. Anyway, the younger one just announced to his father one day that he wanted to live his own life independently. And to start his new life, he asked his father for his share of the inheritance.
What?
What a horrible son. Such disrespect. I don't care what his older brother did or what excuse he had. His father should have slapped that boy hard for dishonoring him like this. Everyone knows the inheritance is never divided among the children until the father dies. That boy was as good as telling his father, "I wish you were dead." How shameful.
I know. When Mahmoud read it to me, I got so angry.
Oh, so sorry for interrupting you, Mahmoud. I'm sure the father was furious at that awful son. What did his father do to him?
That's why the story hit me so hard. You won't believe what the father did.
Be sure to join us next time to hear about the unexpected turn in the rebellious son's life in the next episode of Yearning for Peace.